Sure, here's Dashim 1, part science of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person, using simple and basic English. This part is around 1,000 words long and designed to be engaging while keeping the language clear and easy to follow. Part 1. A diplomatic gesture. The stars were full of life. Not just stars, but planets, ships, and beings no human had ever seen. In a far corner of the galaxy, the Deathworld Alliance met once again. The meeting was not for fun or food. It was serious. The Alliance was made up of species from dangerous worlds where storms could melt skin, where trees hunted animals, and where even the air tried to kill you. These aliens were tough, smart, and old. They had survived things most would call impossible. They had been watching Earth for a long time. Some thought humans were too wild. Others thought they were too loud. A few thought they might be useful. After many cycles of debate, the Council agreed on one thing. It was time to make contact. A vote was cast. A plan was made. An envoy would be sent to Earth. His name was Vrelthak. He was tall, with blue-gray skin, and eyes that saw more than just light. He came from a world where gravity was high and danger was normal. He was trained for war, diplomacy, and survival. He expected fear. He expected aggression. He did not expect what he got. He landed near a small town in Colorado. It was quiet there. Mountains stood like guards. Trees swayed in the wind. And the sky was wide and open. Vrelthak stepped out of his ship. His armor clicked as he moved. Lights blinked across his chest plate. He looked around, ready for anything. The first human to approach him was not a soldier. It was Ethan Blake. Ethan was 32. He wore a hat with a beer logo and a shirt with grease stains. He was a mechanic. He fixed trucks, tractors, and sometimes lawnmowers. He had no college degree, no military rank, and no idea who Vrelthak was. He just saw a weird guy standing next to a shiny object. "Hey," Ethan said, waving. Vrelthak did not wave back. He raised his hand slightly, a gesture of peace among his people, but it looked like he was pointing a weapon. Ethan squinted. "You lost?" "No," Vrelthak replied, voice deep and calm. "I am here to make contact." Ethan nodded like that made sense. "Cool. You want a drink?" Vrelthak blinked slowly. "Drink?" "Yeah." Ethan pulled out a can of beer from his cooler. "Cold one?" Vrelthak stared at the can, then at Ethan, then back at the can. "I do not consume alcohol," he said. Ethan shrugged. "Suit yourself." He took a sip and looked at the ship behind Vrelthak. "That yours?" "Yes." "Nice. Looks expensive." "It cost the lives of 3 engineers during testing," Ethan whistled. "Damn." He walked around the ship, tapping parts of it with his fingers. "You need help with anything? I fix stuff. Cars, engines, radios. I once fixed a fridge with duct tape and hope." Vrelthak watched him carefully. "You are not afraid of me." "Should I be?" Ethan asked. "You are unarmed." "I am not." Ethan laughed. "Well, yeah, but you don't look mean, just weird." Vrelthak tilted his head. "Weird? You know, like, not from around here." Vrelthak said nothing. He studied Ethan's face. The man was smiling. There was no threat, only curiosity. Then, another voice called out, "Ethan, what the hell are you doing?" It was Maggie Doyle. She lived 2 houses down. She was 54, sharp-eyed, and always ready to yell at something. She held a garden rake like a weapon. She looked at Vrelthak, then at the ship, then at Ethan. "What is this?" she demanded. "Alien," Ethan said. "He says he's here to make contact." Maggie narrowed her eyes. "You sure he's not a spy?" "I am not a spy," Vrelthak said. Maggie pointed the rake at him. "You got ID?" Vrelthak didn't understand the question. He showed her a glowing crystal. She stared at it, then at him. "This is how we do it on my planet," she said. "If you don't have papers, you're staying put until someone official shows up." Vrelthak blinked again. I will wait. But Maggie wasn't taking chances. She led him to her shed, opened the door, and pointed inside. In you go. Vreltek hesitated. This is not standard protocol. I don't care about your protocols, Maggie said. You ain't going anywhere till someone important gets here. Ethan leaned against the shed wall. You sure about this? Yep. So, Vreltek went inside. Maggie shut the door and locked it. Later, when government agents arrived, they found Vreltek sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by tools, a broken toaster, and a chessboard he'd carved out of wood. He had also taught himself to whistle. By Then he had already recorded a message to the Deathworld Alliance. Humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They offer drinks to strangers, speak without fear, and lock visitors in sheds without explanation. They seem to function on chaos, humor, and a strange belief that everything can be fixed. Caution is advised. Very great caution. Back in the galaxy, the message was received. Delegates read it, watched the video, listened to the audio, and the council debated. Some laughed, others groaned. One delegate muttered, "We should have never voted for this." Another said, "Maybe we should send more envoys." And so, the decision was made. Humanity would be invited to the Galactic Summit, not because they were safe, but because they were interesting. Here is part 2 of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet engaging tone from Part 1. Part 2. First contact gone wrong. Vreltek sat on the floor of the shed whistling a tune Ethan had taught him. The sound echoed off the wooden walls. Outside, Maggie Doyle paced back and forth like a guard dog protecting something valuable. Ethan leaned against her car, sipping another beer. He was still trying to figure out what was going on. You sure? This is the right move? He asked. Maggie didn't look at him. I'm not letting some alien wander around town until someone official shows up. They always come in peace, Ethan said with a grin. Maggie gave him a hard look. You watch too much TV. Inside the shed, Vreltek looked at the broken toaster again. He had taken it apart twice already. Now he was putting it back together, but better. He added a small cooling fan made from parts of a flashlight. It worked faster and didn't overheat. He wrote notes in his data pad. Humans build machines that break easily, but they fix them with whatever is nearby. They seem to believe anything can be improved. Also, they drink liquid from cans. Strange, but not offensive. Then there was a knock at the door. It wasn't Ethan or Maggie. It was the government. 3 cars pulled up fast, big black ones with no license plates. Men and women in suits stepped out. Some wore sunglasses even though the sky was cloudy. One man walked straight up to Maggie. I'm Agent Harris, he said. We've been informed about an alien presence. Maggie crossed her arms. Took you long enough. She opened the shed door. Vreltek stood up slowly. He dusted himself off and stepped outside. The agents stared at him. One of them took pictures. Another whispered into a radio. Agent Harris cleared his throat. Sir, you are on American soil. We'd like to ask you some questions. Vreltek nodded. I am here under diplomatic mission. Agent Harris blinked. Diplomatic? Yes, Vreltek said. I came to make contact. There was silence. Then one of the other agents whispered to Harris. He's clean, no weapons, just tools. Harris sighed. All right, let's get everyone inside. They went to the local community center. It was a small building with a stage, folding chairs, and a coffee machine that hadn't worked since 2004. Vreltek sat at a table. So did Ethan, Maggie, and the agents. For 2 hours they talked. At first it was serious. Agent Harris asked where Vreltek was from. Planet Krylth, he said. What kind of planet is that? Dangerous, Vreltek replied. Gravity is high, air is thin, predators are everywhere. The agent blinked. And you're here because my people want to understand humans before deciding whether to invite them into the Deathworld Alliance. That got a reaction. Maggie frowned. Invite us? You mean like, to join you? Yes, Vreltak said. Agent Harris looked confused. Join what? The Alliance of Species from Dangerous Worlds, Vreltak explained. Only those who have survived extreme conditions are allowed membership. Maggie snorted. Well, we've got plenty of that. Ethan raised his hand. Can I join too? Vreltak studied him. Perhaps. Then things got weird. Ethan asked if Vreltak wanted to play cards. The agent tried to stop him, but Vreltak agreed. They played poker. Vreltak learned fast. By the third round, he was winning. Then Maggie brought snacks. She offered cookies, chips, and more beer. Vreltak tasted a cookie. He liked it. He asked for the recipe. Later, when Agent Harris tried to get back on topic, Ethan interrupted. Hey, does your ship have air conditioning? It has climate control systems. Cool. Can I see how it works? No, Vreltak said. Fair. Eventually, the meeting ended. Vreltak was taken to a secure location, which turned out to be a hotel with bad Wi-Fi and worse coffee. But before he left, he sent another message to the Deathworld Alliance. First contact with humans has been made. Initial observations suggest they are loud, curious, and unafraid of danger. They offer food and drinks during negotiations. They play games instead of arguing, and they lock visitors in sheds without warning. Further study is required. Caution is advised. Very great caution. Back in space, the message was received. The council gathered once more. Some members were amused, others were worried. A tall, insect-like delegate named Zarnix spoke first. This human, Ethan, seems unusually calm. Why is that? Another member, a floating jellyfish being named Enlo, responded. They live on a world that is not as dangerous as ours, yet they face danger often. They call it life. Zarnix clicked his mandibles. So they are reckless by nature. Enlo pulsed with light. Not reckless, adaptable. A third member, a reptilian warrior from the planet Thurvak, growled. If they are so adaptable, let them prove it. The council leader, a being of pure thought known only as the Voice, floated above them. We shall extend the invitation, the Voice said, but carefully. So it was decided. Humanity would be invited to the Galactic Summit, not because they were safe, but because they were strange. And sometimes, strangeness was more powerful than strength. Here is part the third scout of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from parts 1 and 2. Part 3, the invitation is extended. Back on Earth, things were quiet for a few weeks after Vreltak left. Too quiet. Ethan Blake went back to fixing cars. Maggie Doyle returned to gardening. And Agent Harris tried to forget everything he had seen. But then the message came. Not from the government, from space. A signal was picked up by a satellite dish in New Mexico. It wasn't just any signal. It was a formal invitation. The Deathworld Alliance was asking humanity to attend their galactic summit, and they wanted Ethan to go, along with a small team. The U.S. government scrambled. Meetings were held, coffee was spilled, phones rang off the hook. Eventually, a team was chosen. First was Lena Carter. She used to be in the military. Now she worked as a security advisor. She didn't talk much, but when she did, people listened. She liked guns, knives, and knowing where all the exits were. Next was Daniel Ruiz. He was a linguist, someone who studied languages. He could speak over 20 of them, including some that didn't use sound, only hand signs. He was smart, polite, and very nervous about going into space. Then there was Dr. Karen Patel, a scientist who studied how life evolved. She was excited, very excited. She kept saying things like, "This changes everything and we are witnessing history." Also on the list was Captain Mark Evans, a pilot with years of experience flying jets and spacecraft. He was calm, focused, and always wore clean boots. And finally, there was Ethan Blake. Nobody knew why he was on the list, but there he was. He got the call while changing the oil on a pickup truck. "Sir," said the voice on the phone, "you've been selected for a diplomatic mission." Ethan blinked. "Is this a prank?" "No, sir. You're going to space." "Wait, seriously?" "Yes, sir." Ethan dropped his wrench. "Okay, cool." They trained for a week, mostly. They learned how not to offend aliens. Daniel studied alien languages. Lena studied maps of alien ships. Dr. Patel read reports on alien biology. Captain Evans checked flight plans. Ethan watched videos titled, "How to Not Get Eaten by Space Creatures." Then they boarded the ship. It was called the USS Liberty, though no one had bothered to paint the name on the side yet. Inside, it was shiny and new, too clean. Everything smelled like plastic and coffee. They met their escort, 2 agents from the Office of Extraterrestrial Affairs. One was tall and serious. The other was short and tired-looking. "You follow protocol," said the tall one. "You don't touch anything. You don't ask questions unless told to. And if an alien offers you food, check with the scientist first." Dr. Patel raised her hand. "I'm the scientist." "Good." Then the engines fired. They lifted off. Ethan pressed his face to the window. Whoa. Outside, Earth grew smaller. Clouds became swirls. Then stars appeared. Everyone stared. Even Lena. Even Daniel. Even Ethan. They were in space. The trip took 4 days. They traveled through something called a jump gate, a big ring floating in space that opened a shortcut between stars. When they came out the other side, they saw it, the Deathworld Summit Station. It was huge, bigger than a city, made of metal, stone, and parts of old warships. Lights blinked across its surface like stars. "This place looks like it fought a war and won," Captain Evans said. "It probably did," Lena muttered. They landed gently, in a docking bay filled with ships of all shapes and sizes. Some looked like bugs, others looked like jellyfish. A few looked like walking tanks. Then they stepped outside, and the real meeting began. The station was full of aliens. Some had skin like stone. Others had eyes on stalks. One walked on 6 legs and clicked like a beetle. Another floated in the air, glowing like a lantern. Ethan waved at one. It stared at him. He smiled. It turned around and walked away fast. Daniel whispered, "Don't smile too much. Some species might think you're showing teeth." "Oh," Ethan said. "Right, teeth." They were taken to their quarters, a small room with 5 beds, a table, and a bathroom that flushed sideways. There were also cameras watching them. "Are those supposed to be there?" Lena asked. The guide, a 4-armed being named Zeltor, nodded. "For safety." "Safety or spying?" she asked. Zeltor didn't answer. Instead, he handed them each a small device. "This will translate what others say," he explained. "Use it wisely." They put them in their ears. Suddenly, the world made more sense. They heard greetings in dozens of voices. "Welcome. Strange ones. Dangerous guests." Ethan grinned. "We're famous." Daniel groaned. "That's not always good." Later that night, they got a message. Tomorrow they would meet the council and the summit would begin. Here is part of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans, written in 3rd person, using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from previous parts. Part 4, Arrival at the Summit. The next morning, the human delegation was up early. Ethan Blake sat on his bed staring at the ceiling. "I think the lights are watching me," he said. "They probably are," Lena Carter replied, checking her boots. Daniel Ruiz paced back and forth. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," he muttered. "What if I say something wrong? What if I call someone a vegetable by mistake?" You won't, Dr. Karen Patel said. Just be polite. Captain Mark Evans looked at his reflection in a shiny wall. We're about to meet aliens, he said. I should have shaved. They got dressed in their official clothes, suits that were too clean and made them feel like they were pretending. Then they left their room. Seltor, their four-armed guide, was waiting outside. Time to go, he said. He led them through the station. The halls were wide and cold. Lights blinked above them. The floor felt solid but sometimes moved underfoot like it had its own thoughts. They passed other aliens. Some stared, others whispered. One gave Ethan a small wave. He waved back. It walked away fast. I think I scared, Ethan said. You do that a lot, Lena told him. They reached the main hall. It was huge, a big round room with tall chairs around the edges. In the center was a glowing circle on the floor. It pulsed with light like a heartbeat. This is where the summit happens, Zeltor said. Cool, Ethan said. Do not touch the glowing circle, Zeltor warned. Last time it melted an entire ambassador. Everyone stopped walking. We won't touch it, Daniel said quickly. They were shown to their seats. There were 5 chairs for the humans placed near the edge of the room. Other aliens were already there. Some looked dangerous, others looked weird. One had no face, just smooth skin and a voice that came from inside its chest. Another wore armor covered in bones. Ethan whispered, Are those real? Daniel whispered back. Don't ask. Then a loud sound filled the room. It was like a deep bell mixed with thunder. Everyone stood up. From the far end of the hall, a figure entered. It was tall. It didn't walk. It floated. Its body was made of shifting colors and shapes. Sometimes it looked like a man, other times like smoke. This was the Voice, leader of the Deathworld Alliance. Everyone watched as the Voice took its place in the center of the glowing circle. Then it spoke, not out loud, in their minds. Welcome, humans. You stand here today as guests, not as enemies, but not as allies. You must prove your worth, or you will not return. Daniel turned pale. Lena crossed her arms. Ethan raised his hand. Hey, that was cool. How did you do that? Mind thing? The Voice looked at him. The room grew colder. I am thought without form. I speak directly to minds. Do not interrupt again. Ethan lowered his hand. Okay, sorry. The meeting began. Aliens from many worlds stepped forward one by one. Each spoke in their own way. Some used words, some used sounds, one used dance. The humans listened. Most of it went over their heads, but they tried. At one point, a large alien named Grak Tool stood up. He had 6 eyes and a voice like rocks falling down a hill. He pointed at the humans. These ones smell strange, he growled. Ethan smiled nervously. We showered. Grak Tool sniffed the air again. Still smells like fear. Nope, Ethan said. That's just Daniel. Daniel glared at him. Then came a moment that almost broke everything. A jellyfish-like alien named Enlo floated close to the humans. It offered them a gift, a glowing ball of liquid. Dr. Patel leaned in and smelled it. She sneezed. The ball hit the floor. It exploded, not violently, but with sound. A loud pop echoed across the hall. Everyone turned. Silence followed. Then the Voice spoke again. You have broken protocol, one rule among many. Explain, Daniel jumped in. We meant no harm, it was an accident. Graktul laughed like thunder. They cannot even hold your gifts. More silence. Then Lena stood up. She looked at the Voice. We're new. At this, she said calmly. But we're trying. We make mistakes, but we learn fast. Ethan nodded. Yeah, and we fix stuff. Daniel added. And we're not afraid to try again. The Voice studied them. You are different. We will see how long that lasts. The meeting ended. The humans were escorted back to their room. No one said much. until Ethan broke the silence. "Well," he said, "that could have gone worse." Lena looked at him. How? "We didn't get eaten." "That's true," Daniel said slowly. Outside their window, stars blinked. Inside the station, rumors spread. Humans had survived the first day. They hadn't followed every rule, but they hadn't backed down either. And some aliens were starting to wonder, maybe these humans weren't so bad after all, or maybe they were just dangerous in a new way. Here is part finale of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person, using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from previous parts. Part 5, The Summit Begins. The next day, the summit started again. This time, things were more serious. The humans were told to sit quietly and not talk unless asked. Ethan tried his best. He really did. But it was hard when aliens started doing weird things, like the 3-vac, a tall reptilian species with glowing eyes and voices like growling thunder. They began their ritual. It was supposed to show respect. They stood in a circle and made deep, low sounds, like humming mixed with growling. Then they threw small stones into the air. The stones hit the ceiling. They fell down. Everyone watched them land. Silence followed. Then one of them bowed. Another nodded, and the ritual was done. Ethan whispered, "Was that it?" Daniel Ruiz, sitting beside him, groaned. "Yes." "What did it mean?" "It means peace," Daniel said. "Or maybe power. Or maybe both." Ethan leaned back. "Cool." Then Graktul, the big, six-eyed alien, stepped forward. He looked at the humans. "This is the time for questions," he said. Captain Mark Evans cleared his throat. "We were wondering," he began, "what happens if someone breaks the rules during the summit?" Graktul smiled, which looked scary. "The last one who broke the rules was turned into fertilizer," he said. There was silence. Daniel blinked. "For real?" "For real," Graktul said. Dr. Karen Patel raised her hand. "What kind of fertilizer?" Graktul blinked slowly. Then he walked away. Lena Carter leaned back in her chair. "I don't think this is going great," she muttered. Later, that day, the humans got a break. They were allowed to walk around the station for a few hours. Xeltor, their four-armed guide, came with them. "Stay close," he warned. "Some species do not understand personal space." They passed a group of jellyfish-like beings floating near a food stand. One reached out and touched Ethan's shoulder. He jumped. "Sorry," he said. "Didn't know you could do that." "They are friendly," Xeltor said. "Just curious." Ethan waved at them. "Hi." They floated away fast. Daniel sighed. "You scare them every time." "I can't help it," Ethan said. "I'm just me." They kept walking. Soon they found themselves near the mess hall. It smelled like burnt metal and something sweet. Inside, aliens sat at tables eating strange foods. One had a bowl of glowing soup. Another drank liquid from a bag. A third used its tentacles to eat noodles. Ethan looked around. "Can we eat here?" Xeltor nodded. "Yes, but choose carefully." They lined up. At the front was a server, a small green alien with no nose and too many fingers. He pointed at a tray. "Today's meal: protein paste, root cubes, and starfruit. Juice." Ethan frowned. "What's protein paste?" "Paste made from protein," the alien said. "Is it good?" "No." Ethan took some anyway. He sat down with the others. He took a bite. His face went blank. Then he swallowed. "That's bad," he said. Lena didn't even try hers. She just stared at it. Daniel tasted a root cube. He coughed. "Okay," he said. "I'm never eating alien food again." Karen ate hers like it was normal. "I've had worse," she said. Then something happened. An alien approached their table. It was short and round with skin like bark. He held a plate of food. He offered it to Ethan. Ethan looked at it. It looked like meatloaf made of moss. "You want me to eat this?" he asked. The alien nodded. Ethan took the plate. He cut a piece with his fork, put it in his mouth, chewed, swallowed. Then he smiled. "This is actually good," he said. The alien clapped. Others nearby looked over. Soon, more aliens came. They brought small dishes, offering food. Ethan tried them all. Some were spicy, some were sour. One made him sneeze for 5 minutes. But he kept smiling. Afterward, the aliens left happy. Daniel looked at him. "How did you do that?" "I just ate what they gave me," Ethan said. "Turns out sharing food is how you make friends." Karen nodded. "That was smart." Lena crossed her arms. "Yeah, until you eat something that turns you inside out." Ethan grinned. "Worth it." Back in the meeting hall, the summit continued. More aliens spoke. Some argued, some sang, one cried. Then it was time for the humans to speak. Captain Evans stood up. "We thank you for allowing us here," he said. "We are new to this, we make mistakes, but we learn." Daniel added, "We hope to understand your ways better." Then Ethan stood up. All eyes turned to him. He smiled. "Hey," he said. "I just wanted to say, thanks for the food." Some aliens laughed, others looked confused. Graktul snorted, even the voice paused. "You speak like a child," the voice said. "But perhaps that is why you are not feared." Ethan nodded. "Exactly." Then he sat down. No one knew what to say. So the meeting ended. Again. As the humans walked out, whispers followed them. They had broken rules. They had scared aliens. They had eaten unknown food. And somehow, they were starting to fit in. Here is part the bus of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person, using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from previous parts. The Part 6, The Test of Trust. After the humans had been at the summit for a few days, something changed. The aliens started to talk about them. Some said they were strange, others said they were dangerous. A few said they were interesting. But one thing most agreed on: the humans didn't act like any other species. They asked too many questions. They laughed when they should have been scared, and they kept eating things that looked like they might fight back. So, the council made a decision. It was time to test the humans, not with words, not with rules, but with danger. A trial was set up. It would take place on a planet called Vorik 9. It was not a nice place. The air was thick, the ground was soft and sometimes moved. Predators hid in the trees. Traps waited in the dirt. Survival was not easy. But it was how new members of the Deathworld Alliance proved themselves. Only those who could survive earned full trust. And now, the humans were being invited to join, voluntarily. Ethan Blake was excited. Lena Carter was worried. Daniel Ruiz almost passed out. Captain Evans stayed calm. Dr. Patel took notes. They stood at the edge of the jungle planet, looking at the dark, green forest ahead. Xeltor, their four-armed guide, stepped forward. "This is the trial of trust," he said. "You must reach the top of the ridge within 24 hours. He pointed to a mountain far away. "You will face heat, terrain, traps, and creatures." Ethan grinned. "Cool." Lena crossed her arms. "Any weapons?" "No," Xeltor said. "Only what you can carry and what you find." Daniel groaned. "We're going to die." "We'll be fine," Ethan said. "It's just a hike." "A hike with monsters," Daniel muttered. They entered the forest. The moment they did, the air got heavy. It felt like walking into a hot soup. Their clothes stuck to their skin. Mosquitoes the size of grapes flew around them. One landed on Ethan's arm. He smacked it. It exploded. "Gross," he said. They walked carefully. Xeltor had warned them. The ground could shift. And it did. At one point, Captain Evans stepped on what looked like solid rock. It wasn't. It collapsed under his boot. He barely jumped back in time. That was a trap, Lena said. They're everywhere, Dr. Patel added. Ethan picked up a stick and started poking the ground in front of them, like a blind man with a cane. I'm leading, he said. Great, Daniel said. Our leader is poking. The planet. They kept moving. Then came the first real problem. A creature appeared. It was the size of a bear, with 6 legs, teeth like knives, and eyes that glowed red. It growled. They all stopped. Lena slowly reached for her belt. She didn't have a weapon. None of them did. The creature took a step closer. Then Ethan did something crazy. He pulled out a piece of protein paste from his pocket. He threw it on the ground. The creature sniffed. Then it ate the paste and walked away. Everyone stared. How did you know that would work? Daniel asked. I didn't, Ethan said. I just thought maybe it was hungry. Lena shook her head. You're insane. But lucky, Ethan said. They kept moving. Hours passed. The sun burned down. The sweat poured off them. They found water in a cave. They drank. They rested. Then they kept going. Daniel struggled. He was tired. His shoes were soaked. His glasses kept fogging up. I don't think I can do this, he said. Ethan handed him a drink. Yes, you can, Ethan said. You just need to keep moving. But I'm slow, Daniel said. So am I, Ethan said. But I keep going anyway. Daniel sighed. Okay. They helped each other. When Dr. Patel tripped, they lifted her up. When Lena twisted her ankle, they made a brace from vines and leaves. When Captain Evans got sick from something he touched, they cooled his skin with wet cloth. They worked as a team, and somehow, they survived. By the next day, they reached the ridge, tired, sweaty, battered, but alive. Waiting for them was Zeltor and several alien observers. They looked surprised. Zeltor studied the humans. You finished the trial, he said. Ethan nodded. Yep. In record time, Zeltor added. Daniel fell to his knees. I never want to do that again. Zeltor looked at Ethan. You led them. Ethan shrugged. I just kept walking. Zeltor turned to the others. They are strong, he said. They adapt, they help each other, and they do not give up. One of the observers spoke. They are not like us, she said. But maybe that is why they are dangerous. Another added. Or useful. Back on the station, the message was sent. The humans have completed the trial of trust. They did not win through strength or fear. They won by staying together, surviving, and finding joy even in danger. They are not like us, but they may belong here after all. Here is Part 7 of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance dreads inviting humans. Written in third person, using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from previous parts. Part 7, A New Kind of Fear. Back on the station, the news spread fast. The humans had survived the trial of trust. Not just survived. They had finished early, and they were smiling when they did it. Alien leaders gathered. Again in the big meeting hall. Some were impressed, others were scared. One alien, a tall creature with glowing skin named Zarnix, stood up first. They passed, he said, but not like we expected. Another alien, a floating being called Enlo, pulsed with light. They didn't use weapons, Enlo said. They didn't fight. They worked together and they stayed calm. Zarnix clicked his claws together. That makes them dangerous. A third alien, Graktul, laughed like thunder. I agree, he growled. Most beings fear death. These humans, they laugh at it. Across the room, the voice floated above the glowing circle. We have studied many species. We have seen warriors who kill without mercy. We have seen thinkers who plan for centuries. But we have never seen ones who face danger with joy. Silence followed. Then another voice spoke. It was Krelavi, a small alien with eyes all over her head. "We should study them more," she said. "They might be immune to fear." Several aliens nodded. "That would make them very dangerous," Zarnik said. Inlo added, "Or very useful." Meanwhile, back in their room, the humans were resting. Ethan Blake sat on his bed eating a snack. He looked tired, but happy. Daniel Ruiz lay on the floor, arms stretched out. "I think I broke my legs," he said. "No, you didn't," Lena Carter said. She was cleaning her boots. "You're just sore." Captain Mark Evans stared out the window. "I can't believe we made it," he said. Dr. Karen Patel wrote in her notebook. "I think we proved something," she said. "We showed them we can survive, we can adapt, and we don't give up." Ethan grinned. "Also, we made friends." Lena raised an eyebrow. "You think those aliens are our friends?" "Well," Ethan said, "some of them stopped running away when I smiled." Daniel groaned. "That's not how friendship works." There was a knock at the door. Seltor walked in. "You are wanted in the council chamber," he said. "Again?" Daniel asked. "Yes," Seltor said. "The Alliance must decide what to do with you." Ethan stood up. "Cool," he said. "Let's go." At the meeting hall, the aliens were already waiting. The humans entered. All eyes turned to them. The voice spoke. "You have done what few others could. You faced danger not with fear but with teamwork. You adapted to survive. You laughed when most would cry. This makes you different. But does it make you safe?" No one answered. The voice continued. "Some say yes. Some say no. So we will ask the question that has been asked before, but never about your kind. Should humans be allowed into the Deathworld Alliance?" Graktul stood up. His deep voice rumbled through the hall. "These humans are strong," he said. "They do not break under pressure. That makes them worthy." Zarnik stepped forward. "But it also makes them unpredictable," he said. "They do not act like any other species. That makes them dangerous." Krelavi floated into the center. "They do not fear death," she said. "That makes them strange." She looked at the humans. And strangeness is often power. More voices joined. Some said yes, some said no, some said maybe later. The debate went on for hours. Then, finally, the voice spoke again. "We will vote. Yes or no? Will humans join the Deathworld Alliance?" The lights in the room flinked. Votes were cast. The results came in. It was close, but in the end, the answer was yes. Humans were accepted, with limits. They could attend meetings, they could share ideas, but they would be watched very closely. Later, Ethan was given a small seat near the edge of the hall. It was symbolic, but he took it seriously. He looked around, then he raised his hand. "I got a question," he said. Everyone turned. Even the voice paused. "What if we made the mess hall food better?" Ethan asked. "I mean, the protein paste? Not great." Graktul laughed. Zarnix rolled his eyes. The voice floated silently for a moment. Then it spoke. "Perhaps this will not be easy. But perhaps it will be interesting." And so the humans had a place among the fiercest beings in the Dai galaxy. Not because they were the strongest, not because they were the smartest, but because they were different. And sometimes different was more powerful than anything else. Here is Part 8 of your story. Why the Deathworld Alliance Dreads Inviting Humans. Written in third person, using simple and basic English. This part is approximately 1,000 words long and continues the humorous yet thrilling tone from previous parts. Party 8. The Decision. The vote was done. The decision had been made. Humans were now members of the Deathworld Alliance, but not full members. They were called associate members. It meant they could attend meetings, they could speak, they could even suggest ideas, but they couldn't make final decisions, and they had to follow special rules. Some aliens liked this, others did not. Graktul thought it was fair. Zarnix thought. It was a mistake. Kralevi said she would keep watching, and the voice floated above them all, silent as ever. Then came the official ceremony. It was held in the big meeting hall. Ethan Blake sat in his small chair near the edge. He wore a clean shirt. He tried to look serious. He mostly looked confused. A tall alien named Vex Tor stepped forward. He was the one who read the rules. The humans are accepted, he said, with limits. He listed them one by one. No human may access high-level AI systems. No human may travel alone on alliance ships. No human may enter restricted zones without permission. And most importantly, no human may be left unsupervised with important tech or weapons. Ethan raised his hand. Yes? Vextor asked. Can I ask why? Vextor blinked slowly. Because you might break it, or worse, fix it. Some aliens laughed. Others groaned. Then came the gift. It was a small metal badge. It had the symbol of the Alliance on it. Ethan took it carefully. He looked at it. Then he smiled. I'm officially part of an alien group, he said. Cool. Lena, Carter stood behind him. She didn't wear a badge. She didn't want one. She just wanted to go home. Daniel Ruiz looked nervous. We're really doing this? He asked Dr. Patel. She nodded. We just joined an intergalactic alliance. Daniel, said, I need a vacation. Captain Evans shook his head. I think we just signed up for more work, he said. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Governments talked, people watched videos, and everyone had questions. Some were excited, some were scared. One man in Texas built a sign that said, humans in space, cool, but don't let them run things. Another wrote online, we should have known this would happen. First contact, then politics. Next thing you know, aliens will be complaining about our taxes. In Colorado, Maggie Doyle sat on her porch with a cup of coffee. She watched Ethan walk past. You're famous now, she said. Ethan grinned. Kind of. Maggie sipped her coffee. Just don't blow anything up, she said. I'll try, Ethan said. Maggie pointed at him. Don't try, do. Ethan nodded. Yes, ma'am. On the station, things began to change. Slowly. At first, the aliens still kept their distance. They watched the humans. They studied them. They talked about them. But soon, some started to get used to them. Graktul invited Ethan to eat with him. He gave Ethan meat that smelled like fire. Ethan ate it. He didn't die. So Graktul nodded. You are strong, he said. Zarnix avoided Ethan. But he listened when Ethan spoke. Sometimes he even agreed. Kralevi followed Ethan around for a week. She recorded everything he did. Later, she sent her notes to other scientists. Her report said, humans do not act like others. They are loud. They are curious. They make mistakes often, but they learn fast. And they laugh even when they should be afraid. This may be weakness, or it may be strength. Even the voice seemed to notice. During one meeting, Ethan suggested adding a nap time during long sessions. Most aliens ignored him, but later, several species quietly asked if it could be tried. Some even said yes. As weeks passed, the humans stayed. They learned more. They met more aliens. They saw more places, and slowly they became part of the alliance. Not fully trusted, not fully understood, but present and causing trouble in the best way possible.